The NASCAR Canadian Tire Series is making its annual stop in James River, Nova Scotia for the 9th race of the season. With 3 races remaining, the 300 laps tonight could be a game changer. This is Riverside International Speedway, the biggest, baddest short track in the Maritimes.
NASCAR on TSN brings you the Wounded Warriors Canada 300 from Riverside International Speedway in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. This is the 9th race of the 2015 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, presented by Mobil 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dave Bradley, along with the voice of NASCAR in Canada, Adam Ross, and Todd Lewis is trackside. Adam, this is one of the finest racetracks in the country, bar none.
Dave, you've got that right. It was built in 1969 as a replica of Bristol Motor Speedway. Over the years, fell on some hard times until it was purchased by the late John Chisholm, and he's made improvements to this place. I challenge you to find a speedway that compares. 14-degree banking in the corners, 6-degree banking is on the straightaway. This place is bad fast.
And completely rebuilt, top to bottom, back in 2006. Just a wonderful facility. And as we take a look at the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series point standings, things are tight at the top between Scott Steckley and now Andrew Ranger.
With just 6 points between them, Dave, that's basically a wash, first and second. Hathaway and Dumoulin, third and fourth. They still feel they've got a chance, but they've got to have a good outing tonight.
And there is Donald Chisholm, last year's winner right here at Riverside Speedway, is looking for a good outing once again here this year at his home track. And with more on the Maritime competitors, here's Todd.
Great to have a couple of other East Coast drivers in the series for this event here at Riverside International Speedway. DJ Casey had a great qualifying effort. He'll roll off 7th for tonight's race. Told me he actually thought there was maybe even a little bit more left in the car. The other thing he's looking forward to tonight, a lot of laps. 300 laps he thinks really works in his favor. He loves the long races, wants to be there for the end, and hopefully have a top 5 or maybe even a little bit better. Rolling off 12th tonight, Josh Collins, another Newfoundland driver, the first one to race in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Said the toughest adjustment, of course, getting used to the extra power that he's used to riding pro stocks and other cars, and also the brakes. Again, 300 laps tonight. You got to have brakes left at the end. You will use them, even though there is great speed at this track. You will use brakes, and got to make sure, guys, that they're there for the end of this race.
Of course, 300 long laps, Todd, and with his first pole of the season, his 11th career pole, DJ Kennington got around this quick 3rd mile in his Castrol Edge Mahindra tractor Dodge. It was a record time, 14.429. That's an average speed of just over 83 miles an hour.
Well, Kennington looked great in practice. That's a track record that stood for 5 years. 2010, that was set by Scott Steckley. Finally, someone came along and beat that. Kennington looked great. And now for tonight's command, we go to Kate McEachran from Wounded Warriors Canada.
Fire up.
As these 16 NASCAR late models come to life, we'd like to remind you and possibly take this opportunity to visit the woundedwarriors.ca website to find out more and see how you can help.
And Dave, it was great meeting Kate and her son Tyler. And what a speech she gave. That had goosebumps on me, and I know a number of people as well. That was something else.
Absolutely. Just a great story as we take a look at some onboard views we'll have here today. The 25 of Joey McComb will ride along with the number 87 of Josh Collins making his first start, as Todd mentioned earlier. And there he is, your points leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley.
And the field rolls behind the Dodge caution car. Let's have a look at the E3 spark plug starting lineup. DJ Kennington, of course, track record on the pole alongside Scott Steckley.
Row number 2 has the 27 of Andrew Ranger and the 3 of Jason Hathaway. Then we take a look back to David Michaud making his first start in the 18 and Matthew Scannell in the 56.
Row number 4 brings us DJ Casey in car number 10 and the veteran Mark Dilley in the 024. 5th row, LP Dumoulin, defending champion and defending winner of this race, Donald Chisholm in the 89.
Taking us back to row number 6 is the 25 of Joey McComb, and there is Josh Collins in the 87 teammates here today.
Row number 7, Marc-Antoine Camarade in the 99, and alongside him will be the 9 of Dwayne Baker.
JF Dumoulin from Trois-Rivières, Quebec will make the start to the inside of row number 8. He'll start alongside the 59 of Gary Clute. And that's your field here today in the Wounded Warriors Canada 300 at Riverside.
Let's have a look at the E3 Spark Plugs race analysis. 300 laps, that's 100 miles on this third-mile banked oval. Donald Chisholm from Antigonish won this race last year, and it changed this year, Dave. They'll be pitting for fuel, but only 2 tires.
And let's head back down pit side and take us to Todd with tonight's Leland lead up to the green. Todd?
Something else to keep an eye on tonight, guys, of course, is the rookie points battle. Marc-Antoine Camerat now leads the rookie points chase by 2, says he wants to look at consistent finishes, strong points runs the rest of the way. It'll serve him well in the overall standings also. Gary Clute is now trailing. He had a win in the season opener. He has a couple of poles, but they've struggled earlier today. They broke an axle. Asked Gary a little while ago if they think they're okay tonight. He said, we'll find out. Not really inspiring, but hopefully they do have a good, strong run as well.
That's something that Gary Clute often says. He's like, I don't know. We'll see in the first couple laps.
Well, the interesting thing about Gary Clute, for all the years he's been racing, he has never chased a championship in anything.
That's true. He's run go-karts a number of years, and he's always sort of sporadically run, but he was and has been very competitive in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series this year. Pace car is in, looking for the green here in Riverside Speedway. It's up, and we're underway.
Kate McCracken does a nice job waving the green. They got a little bit squirrely at the back. LP Dumoulin got a little bit checked up. Joey McComb had to take evasive action, Dave.
Side by side, top 2 in points. You saw Scott Steckley up on the outside. Andrew Ranger's going to take that spot from him.
One thing we definitely saw throughout the day, the inside groove is where everybody wants to be.
A few sparks through the corners from these cars as the vehicles build up tire pressure. They'll start to raise up just a little bit, but for right now, look, there you can see it off the 27 Mopar Dodge.
Man, and DJ Kennington hooked right around the bottom of the racetrack. Scott Steckley up on the outside in that 22 finally gets down to the yellow stripe from the bottom, but he's not able to keep that machine on the bottom of the racetrack.
As we mentioned, the sparks, the 22 showing some sparks in the Canadian Tire Dodge as well as he drops back a little bit now into this battle with the 18 of David Michaud in the EpiPen Chevrolet.
David Michaud in the 18, a rookie in our series making his first start.
There's those sparks from the 22.
You want me to keep going or what? Short, inside.
And Scott Steckley radioing to his crew, do you want me to keep going? You remember back to practice, the 02 of Mark Dilley actually had to change an oil pan because that car was bottoming out so much. So that's the big worry from the 22 team.
And he's not able to keep the car down on the racetrack. You can hear it. You can hear it scraping on the in-car camera through the corners.
That's not a big deal if it's just the valence of the front bumper as Dilley gets into the back of the 18 of Michaud. Hello and welcome to the series. David Michaud as he gathers it back up and falls into line. There is your race leader, the Castrol Edge Dodge Mahindra Tractors number 17 of DJ Kennington and the 27 of Andrew Ranger riding on board that car.
Ranger, and you can see the banking, the way it sucks the car right down to the racetrack, and then they jump on the throttle, the front end comes up. You really get to see the dynamics of these cars.
That is pretty unique for the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. The series doesn't run on a track like this anywhere across Canada. This is pretty much it, so really you have to get used to it in a hurry.
So Donald Chisholm, we talked about him outside the top 10 for qualifying. Steckley was on the front row. They've come together to meet in a battle for the 6th spot.
There you see Matthew Scannell in the 56 as well. There's Gary Clute working his way up through the field as the 04 of JF Dumoulin. Also in there, a dice for 14th position, the number 9 of Dwayne Baker from Barrie, Ontario, also involved in that battle as we ride on board with Josh Collins.
Josh Collins giving us a great look, and look at Ranger right up on the rear deck lid of Kennington. He slides over, maybe a little bit of camaraderie by a couple of Dodge racers.
And now Andrew Ranger, who needs the bonus point for leading a lap, will take them down the back straightaway in top spot. DJ Kennington tucked in close behind. He's not going to let that 27 get too far away, but there is that bonus point for Andrew Ranger.
Now we'll see how long Ranger's able to lead. If DJ goes right on by, might have been some friendly Dodge companionship. You're watching NASCAR on TSN.
This NASCAR on TSN event from Antigonish, Nova Scotia is brought to you by Super Easy, Super Fast, Super Clean, available at Canadian Tire. By E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. And by Mopar, authentic performance. While we were at break, the 17 of DJ Kennington headed back out in front. That puts the 27 of Andrew Ranger tucked back into second, but still a credit card between them.
They are so close in speed. It almost looks like Ranger's trying to size him up for something he might want to do later in the race. He keeps taking these little runs in the middle of the corner, Dave.
On board, the number 3 of Jason Hathaway sits in 4th position. He's chasing the 0-2 of Mark Dilley, who's up to 3rd, the 22. Your points leader, Scott Steckley, is now back to 5th, but that car seems to have settled a little bit.
Well, it's definitely improved over what it was in the first number of laps.
And again, it's exactly what we talked about, Adam. We're now 26 laps into this one. The air pressures on the cars have started to come up.
And we're riding along with Jason Hathaway in that E3 Spark Plugs cam. And listen when he's in the corners there, Dave. You can just hear it tickling the racetrack.
That is. There it is. The 22 of Scott Steckley still bottoming out just a little bit. As we ride on board, we see Steckley at work.
And that's the design of the cars. They want that front end to slam down right to the racetrack. They don't want it dragging, but you want to cut off any airflow under the car.
A little bit further deep back into the field, a battle for 9th spot between the 47 of LP Dumoulin and the 10 of DJ Casey, the Halifax native in that 10, having a pretty good run here today.
This is the longest race DJ Casey's ever driven in. He had a great run earlier this year in the 250 lapper they hold for Pro Stocks here on this racetrack. Had a great chance to win that one, but he said the long race really suited his driving style.
Look at the battle at the front. He is starting to heat up. It's a 3-way dice now. DJ Kennington leading Andrew Ranger and the 0-2 of Mark Dilley. Hathaway and Steckley all involved there. You can throw a blanket over the top 5.
You have to wonder if Andrew Ranger's going to get aggressive now. His rearview mirror is right full of the 0-2 of Mark Dilley.
You know who might get aggressive? That car, the 0-2 of Dilley. He is so hungry for a good result.
They've been so fast this year, and they've had all sorts of bad luck, and he'll even tell you some of the bad luck he created himself, but that doesn't make you feel any better. He wants a good run.
DJ Kennington just easing it through the corners. Remember, they do have to save their stuff. Todd talked about it off the top about saving brakes, but only 2 tires this year. You don't have the luxury of a 4-tire stop.
And we're a little less than half a straightaway from lap traffic. There's 16 cars in this race, but they're pretty darn quick. We're well over 30 laps into it, and we're just now getting near lap traffic. It's going to be difficult for the leaders to get around these guys.
Remember, Kennington sat on the pole in a shade under 15 seconds, so they are clicking off laps very, very quickly here in Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
But you look at the slow cars in front of the leader. I hate to call them slow cars, but they're running a good racing line, and they're not that much slower. I don't know where the leaders are going to go. It's going to rely on these cars ahead of them being polite.
An on-board shot from your leader, DJ Kennington, looking at the back bumper, the 25 of Joey McComb, the 87, Josh Collins, just ahead of him as well.
He went up the racetrack a little bit there. I don't know if it was just to feel things out. Scott Steckley underneath Jason Hathaway in a battle for 4th, but DJ Kennington already trying to decide where he's going to make the move on McComb, and that basically plays to Andrew Ranger's hand. He's going to go where Kennington's not.
And you watch these cars as they poke out and take a look. It really hurts their momentum going into the corners. Ranger was almost bitten by that. Ranger gets crooked. Now he's going to go to the high side. Problems for the 17. Around goes your race leader.
And you can see the fluid up through the bottom. That is not good for anyone else coming down the front stretch. Looks like they're all going to make it through. Now one into the wall. Matthew Scannell, you could hear the tires before you could see him, but Matthew Scannell has backed it into the wall.
Motor blew up.
There it is. DJ Kennington, a veteran. He knows exactly what went wrong. And listen, nothing from the Castrol Edge on DJ Kennington's day is done. What a strong run he was having.
Let's have a look here. Out of turn 4, he gets up on the throttle fine. And then the smoke comes out just past the start-finish line. And once the oil comes out and the back tires are in the oil, he's actually lucky he's not replacing a rear clip on that race car, because at the speeds they carry, it's nothing to back into the wall hard when a problem like this occurs.
On board from the 3 of Jason Hathaway, you see how much fluid is put out on the racetrack. And now here's on board the 56 of Matthew Scannell. You heard the finish on that one as he got into the wall, but an opportunity for pit stops. Michaud is in, so is the 3 of Jason Hathaway.
You could see in the on-car camera from Hathaway how coated that camera was with oil, and the crew is working hard to clean the windshield on that 3 machine as the duct tape has been brought out for Matthew Scannell's number 56.
Matthew Scannell was in 8th position when he took that trip into the wall after getting caught in the oil, but this shakes up the running order at the front of the field. Andrew Ranger is your brand new race leader as we watch the sun set here at Riverside International Speedway. Welcome back to the Wounded Warriors 300 from Riverside International Speedway in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. We're working lap 65. Track workers still trying to get the track cleaned up from the oil of the 17 machine of DJ Kennington.
Andrew Ranger in the Mopar 27 along pit road to the attention of Billy Burns and the rest of the Mopar crew. He's taken on fuel. Scott Steckley already came down pit road and took on fuel. Dave, that's 1 stop down.
But we do have a new race leader. It's the Johnsonville Leland 02 of Mark Dilley. He's now in top spot. And Todd standing by with the Castro drivers out. Todd?
DJ Kennington already out of the driver's suit, managing a smile. What a frustrating night this has become for you after such a strong start.
Sure is. I mean, we lost an engine in the car, and it kind of sucks for the Castrol Edge, Mahindra Tractor Dodge. I think all our spotters are all our sponsors, Castrol, Mahindra, and Brian Cathcart, and Canadian Linen, and Just Reps, everybody that helps us out, Mopar. I appreciate all their support. Just not our year this year, Todd. And my guys worked hard. We got speed in the car now, and we're really looking forward to Mosport and Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and we'll go get them there.
Thanks, DJ.
And that is a big event. Of course, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will be appearing alongside the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's huge.
Pinty's presents the Clarington 200 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but we've got lots of action left here. We're going back to green, and the leader, Mark Dilley, has elected the outside lane.
LP Dumoulin in the 47 will start alongside Sean Gibbs, waves to green. We're backing away finally here at Riverside. Problems for Casey, we're 3 wide.
And DJ Casey missed a shift right there, almost got run over. Beautiful job by Dave Michaud to not cause an accident.
And we should touch on why David Michaud is in that 18 EpiPen Chevrolet. Alex Tagliani running the Xfinity Series at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for Penske Racing, so Michaud filling in to keep up those owner's points.
Wow, Dwayne Baker into the quarter panel of Joey McComb, and Scott Steckley almost was the victim of a horrible set of circumstances. Steckley gets through, Ranger gets through, and as we'll go on board with Joey McComb in the CBRT number 25. I'd like to go back a lap on board that race car.
And I'm sure Scott Steckley is still trying to catch his breath after doing some steering. But a note about Joey McComb racing for Laps per MD. That's a program that started about 5 years ago. $1 from every lap led will go to muscular dystrophy in Canada. It's a great program.
It is a great program. Joey McComb trying to do great things, struggling a little bit tonight, but it's a long race, 300 laps, anything can happen.
On board with the 3 of Jason Hathaway as he takes a look back at the number 18 of David Michaud.
And the reason Michaud's even back that far, he bidded for fuel as well as crew chief Tyler Case, trying to make the life easy for that driver from Terrebonne, Quebec.
Yeah, just trying to get some track position for him because he may not be comfortable later in the race. He may not know how to save his stuff that well.
And there we have Josh Collins in the 87 behind DJ Casey in the number 10. It's the first event for both of these drivers. Casey from Halifax, Collins from Placentia, Newfoundland, racing for the 7th spot.
You see those yellow rookie stripes on the back bumpers of those 2 cars, and here comes Steckley looking to the inside of the Graphoid Braille number 99. That's a battle for 9th position, and Steckley will take it, and he'll bring along Ranger with him.
Once you get up out of that inside groove, it's so hard to maintain your speed. Steckley made the hole, and Andrew Ranger took advantage as well.
You saw sparks, though, from the 22. How about the 04, though, of JF Dumoulin, sitting in 6th, having another great run. He started well back in the Belmar Dodge, but he seems to be better on the ovals than the road courses this year.
It makes no sense. He stuffed it into the tire wall at Trois Rivières, a tough day on a track that he is amazing at. And we've been to the oval tracks, and he just seems to survive. Knock on wood, seems to survive to the end of the races and produce great results.
For 8th spot, the 22 of Scott Steckley continues his trek up through the field in the Canadian Tire Dodge, but still, those sparks have to be concerning for the crew.
Eventually the sparks will go away, because whatever's making them will wear right off. You're not going to wear away at the racetrack, you're going to wear away at the metal that's making the sparks. But how about the Johnsonville Leland 02 of Mark Dilley? He's looking strong.
Yeah, speaking of wearing them away, Dilley is wearing down this field. Look at the gap he's opened up over the 47 of LP Dumoulin. WeatherTech.ca Dodge just hitting his mark, sitting in 2nd spot, collecting all those valuable points. And how about this 3rd place runner? Started dead last. The 59 of Gary Clute.
You know, we talk about a week in and week out, but the crew chief is John Fletcher, the spotter is Scott Fletcher. There's experience all around him, and it's a calming factor for a race car driver, and Gary Clute has a lot of confidence.
CTL Financial coming on board the 59 team this year. Mark Dilley continues out front. '46-year-old Mark Dilley from Barrie, Ontario, driving for car owner Susan Mix, leads the Wounded Warriors Canada 300 here in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. It's Mark's 90th career start. LP Dumoulin from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, the 2015 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series champion, driving for WeatherTech Canada, sitting in 2nd. Gary Clute in his CPL Dodge currently holds down 3rd spot.
Andrew Ranger on the outside of Donald Chisholm. There's a couple of drivers who've won here before, Dave.
Chisholm picking up 8th position with that pass. See a big group of cars just in front of him.
4 coming, 5 coming. Keep running on the bottom. Still there?
And that was Howie Scannell Jr., Matthew Scannell's father, telling him, stay on the bottom. The leaders are coming to the outside, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, he's currently 2 laps down in 15th. He's a top 10 points contender, though, so he's just out there picking up points. Obviously, that car is hurt a lot worse than they initially thought after getting into the wall.
He hit the wall fairly hard, but I thought he'd be able to come back with the repairs they made, but clearly something amiss as Scott Steckley looks to the inside of Jason Hathaway.
Up on the wheel is the driver of the Canadian Tire Dodge. A battle for 4th spot. Hathaway up on the outside will relinquish that position. Here comes Michaud. The door is open for him as well.
And Michaud's pedaling as hard as he can to keep the door open and get a spot under the 3 of Hathaway.
Michaud tucked down on the bottom underneath the Choco number 3 of Hathaway. And a little rub there as the rookie is going to go by in a 5th spot.
You don't have to go in the corner much past your braking point to lose that bottom groove, and that's what Michaud did right there. You watch someone like Scott Steckley make the pass, he picks up another one. But he watches Steckley and he's, why can't I do that? But that's the experience of a 3-time champion, Scott Steckley.
Indeed, a car that has come around to him as he works up through the field. There's Steckley, there's Clute, and that battle for 5th spot between Michaud and the 3 of Jason Hathaway. Hathaway seems to be quite comfortable up in that outside group.
You know, I can see why Alex Tagliani and car owner Colin Livingston chose Dave Michaud. Look at the respect he's showing Jason Hathaway. He doesn't want to cause Hathaway any problems. He wants to make the pass, but he's being a pretty respectful short track racer.
On board the number 89 of Donald Chisholm, sitting in 7th position. He's got a bird's eye view of that battle in front of him, but he's also got DJ Casey up on the outside of him.
And Casey drove up the outside of him as all this action's going on in front of them. DJ Casey not afraid to feel his way around here and again with such a long race. When it comes down to the last 50 or 60 laps, this could pay off for these guys.
But this puts the Mopar Dodge of Andrew Ranger in a sticky situation as he makes contact with the rookie Casey.
That's what I love about Andrew Ranger. He was sideways the entire way down the straightaway, but still drives it in the corner harder than the 10.
Andrew Ranger coming into this race second in points. Casey wagging the tail of that Dodge Challenger, and that's going to allow the 27 to give him a little "how you doing" up in the corner.
Donald Chisholm gets around the 18 of Michaud. After all those last Michaud was alongside Hathaway, Donald Chisholm now the car on the move.
Yeah, he really is. Look at him close on the number 3 as Scannell finds pit lane, and now the 59 of Gary Clute up on the outside.
And on pit road is Matthew Scannell. Todd Lewis is in his pit box.
Yeah, guys, this 56 team has made a number of stops. That's that earlier incident. Significant handling adjustment, we'll call it, to the right rear.
And they're taking big swings now, Dave. Do whatever you can to make the car drivable.
Absolutely. Just get those important points, as we talked about a little bit earlier. Now the leader into lap traffic. Couple of drivers from Barrie, Ontario, nose to tail. Mark Dilley going to give a little bump to Dwayne Baker, get him out of the way as the GD Coat Superstore number 9 slides up the racetrack, but Baker gathers it back up.
I'll tell you, Mark Dilley really being assertive tonight. No damage on the race car, but we've seen him a couple times. Hey, I'm faster than you are, and I'm not messing around.
But look at the lead he has built up over the WeatherTech.ca number 47 of LP Dumoulin. He can do that. He is the fastest car on the track at this particular moment.
Donald Chisholm to the inside of Jason Hathaway. That's a side-by-side battle for the 4th spot.
And give it to Chisholm in the Celtic Ford as he works that inside lane. One of the cars on the move through the midway portion of this race. Jason Hathaway will tuck in behind. There's a good look at Michaud and Andrew Ranger running single file. We got a car around.
That's Josh Collins in the 87. The yellow flag is displayed. On board, it sounds like the car is running.
And he didn't hit the wall. He got stopped before making contact with that outside wall, so that is good news. But the eastbound Speedway number 87 will rejoin. He'll be a lap down on board with him now.
And that car just snapped around. Does anyone go, oh, maybe a little bit of help? And he kept the car running. And there's something when you run these races where yellow laps count. If the car's running, you've got to get moving quickly. Pit road, Mark Dilley is down on pit lane.
So your leader is in. He'll take on some fuel for his first stop as we ride on board the 47 of LP Dumoulin, and he'll make his stop for fuel as well. The 22 is in, and Todd's there.
Caution near the midpoint means the 22 along pit road for 2 right side tires. Smooth stop so far. The 02 will beat him out. Already has service done. The 47 going as well. The 27 in also. They get held up a little bit by the 18 on the way out.
What a burnout for the 22, and he may have caught the air hose. NASCAR will be taking a look at that.
And officials all along pit road. Andrew Ranger pinned in right now by David Michaud in the 18. And we should mention, exactly the first car to get off pit road with tires.
So Jason Hathaway takes over the lead here in Antigonish. The man who calls Riverside International Speedway home looks to have fallen victim to it, hearing that the number 89 of Donald Chisholm is out with driveline issues. Heartbreak for that team.
Yeah, and the crew not really thrashing. It sounds like it could be terminal for Chisholm. We're about to restart. Jason Hathaway on the inside in the 3. JF Dumoulin in the 04 on the outside.
And the free pass this time around going to Dwayne Baker, who's sitting in 10th as Hathaway will lead him off into turn 1.
Great start by Hathaway. Even better for Mark Dilley in the 02. Wow, Gary Clute all kinds of sideways.
And into the wall where he stops. He doesn't quite catch it. The 99 of Cameron gets into the back bumper, and they might have just barely grazed it, but the CTL Financial Dodge manages to keep running and miss the wall somehow.
I don't know how you spin out to the right on a straightaway and not bury the front end in the wall. What a great look. He got a little bit sideways and then hard to the left. Oh my goodness.
How he didn't hit that wall, I'll never understand, but it appears as though the banking is the friend of the 59. There you see it building up, and there you see it ending. But one driver is out, the 89.
It's much happier when I talked to you last year after the race, but unfortunately yours is ending early because of a problem in the rear end.
Yeah, we broke an axle, left rear axle, and as soon as we came off the jack on the pit stop, I knew there was something not right. I wasn't sure if it was a clutch or an axle, but just want to thank all the guys. Gave me a great car. We were through pit strategy, we came from the back, I think, twice, so it was just kind of riding our time, waiting for later in the show, but unfortunately, it's not tonight.
Tough break, mechanical failure for Donald Chisholm tonight.
So as we get set for restart, number 3, the free pass this time around going to the number 10 of DJ Casey, currently sitting in 11th. Hathaway will once again lead him to the stripe and head down into turn number 1 with Dumoulin up on the outside.
And once again, a great restart for Hathaway and as well for Mark Dilley, who slips into the second spot.
See the field buzz by down the back straightaway. Cameron working his way up in the number 9 alongside the number 18 of David Michaud. You can find out where your favorite driver is running with a ticker across the top of your screen.
Fantastic crowd this race here in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. You look down in turns 1 and 2, even those stands with a lot of people sitting in there.
Well, you can almost be guaranteed a great race anytime you come here. It doesn't matter what series runs here at Riverside International Speedway. It will be a great race.
30 degrees and sunny didn't hurt either.
And of course, the announcer, Tim Terry, working the PA here today as he does each and every time the NASCAR Canadian Tire stops here at Riverside. And big hats off to Mike McCarthy helping out with some photos here for today as well.
Mark Dilley looking to the inside of the race leader as we're back with Dave Michaud in the 18. Halfway through this one, Dave, 150 laps to go.
That brings us to our Tim Hortons halfway update. 4 leaders so far this evening. 5 lead changes have happened. 3 cautions for 47 laps. We're about to have another lead change, and there it is as Dilley goes by. Michaud, the impressive run so far, sitting in 4th spot for the rookie.
Great run for Michaud in the 18 EpiPen machine, but Dilley goes by Hathaway, Steckley as well, and I don't think Scott Steckley is done.
No, Steckley is on the move, and remember, he took tires that last time down pit lane, so he's got brand new right side tires, and they seem to be working very, very well as he goes through to the lead.
Just great forward drive off the corners. He's able to hook right along the yellow line and get the throttle down. Look at Dave Michaud. He's looking for the 2nd spot.
So that just gives you an idea of how much new tires really affect, because Michaud picked up tires as well.
And Michaud along the inside, getting by Mark Dilley. Hathaway up on the top as well, with Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 99 going by. Now we're on board with the 27 of Andrew Ranger, that Mopar in-car camera.
You know what, I was just going to mention the driver of the number 99 White Motorsports Chevrolet, Marc-Antoine Cameron. Didn't qualify really, really well here at Riverside, but man, has he turned it on in this race.
You know what impresses me the most, Dave? That race car is the same race car he's going to drive at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He's the only driver in this field who has the same car for road courses and for oval tracks.
So this dice here not for position between the 47 of LP Dumoulin and the 87 of Josh Collins. Dumoulin sitting in 9th spot. Collins is back in 13th.
And Josh Collins not on the same lap, but still racing pretty hard.
Listen to that conversation. Steckley with huge confidence here today. You want me to lap the entire field or what?
And his cousin Randy Steckley, yepper, get her done.
Big thumbs up from that team. And here comes the 27 of Andrew Ranger. He'll pick up a spot underneath the 02 of Mark Dilley.
I think there might have been some contact the way the hands were moving there, Dave.
3rd spot, though, for the driver of the Mopar Dodge as Dilley will tuck in behind. Now he's got the 99 of Cameron on his back bumper.
And remember, all these drivers, is everyone on the same straightaway there? Jason Hathaway coming through in the 3. Oh, problems for the 10 of DJ Casey.
He's off the pace, and you see sparks, so something gone wrong. And the good guy's number 10 as he comes to a rest along the outside of the wall. He did not make contact, and no caution yet. Now there's one from NASCAR official Sean Gibbs, so this will slow the field once again. Have another look.
I expect we're going to see a flat right front. That's what makes all those sparks, because the car gets in the turn and gets right down on the frame and shoots sparks out the back, and there's not enough rubber contact to make it turn.
Absolutely right, Adam. The right front getting changed on the number 10 of DJ Casey. But during this caution, 4th place is Mark Dilley. He's down pit lane. He'll get his right sides, and Todd's in the 3 pit. Todd?
Scheduled service of right side tires for the 3 car. They were worried they had a problem with the motor hiccuping. They'd experienced that in the past, but then Jason Hathaway was on the radio talking about the left rear. Right now, they think they're okay. 02 will beat them out of the pits.
So we continue under caution here in the Wounded Warriors Canada 300. Scott Steckley is your leader. Restart number 4 here at Riverside Speedway in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. The free pass for this one going to the 25 of Joey McComb. He sits in 11th spot. And we should mention the 22 of Scott Steckley, your leader, has been in front for the last 20 laps as we go back to green.
And he got a great restart. You can see that inside lane take off. Dave Nee showed up on the high side. He's having to hold on for dear life, trying to battle for second.
And you mentioned it earlier in the race, the outside groove really not the preferred line here at Riverside, especially here today, but Michaud got a good run once he got going.
It's not bad. He's going to have a tough time, although Ranger got sideways. On a restart, the outside can work well because the leader has to fire first. For the leader, it's good. For anyone behind him, it's a real uphill battle.
Michaud in the EpiPen, number 18, hanging on. Of course, the normal driver of that car, Alex Tagliani, being inducted into the 2015 Canadian Racing Hall of Fame, and along with John Chisholm, who made this place what it is. He'll also be inducted in 2015.
Just a great, great man. Passed away last year, and he's definitely missed, Dave.
Absolutely is. He's made a wonderful place to race here at Riverside Speedway. Battle for 5th here between the 02 of Mark Dilley and the Leland Ford and the CTL Financial number 59 of Clue.
Then the Dumoulin brothers right behind them, the 47 of LP Dumoulin. We go on board and have a look back behind him at JF Dumoulin in the 04. JF looking to make a move to the inside of his brother.
The battle of brothers. I love watching that. You can see LP taking a look at his mirror. He knows he's back there.
And I really believe that was a turning point for JF Dumoulin's season. When he did battle with LP at Sunset Speedway and passed him under green, everything has changed since then. He looks great on these oval tracks. We're on board with Josh Collins in the eastbound Speedway 87.
Not a bad day for the driver of the 87. Just one lap down, currently sitting in 12th position, but still has all the fenders on. That's the most important part.
Marc-Antoine Cameron of the 99 looks to the inside for 3rd place on Dave Michaud.
Cameron, who was a green rookie at the beginning of this year, especially on these ovals, now looking like a seasoned veteran as he makes it look easy underneath the 18.
Rail Batteries and Graphoid, the sponsors on that 99 team out of White Motorsports.
Mark Dilley just in behind there as well. You see the nose of the Ford Fusion. Not too far behind the back bumper of the 18 of Michaud as we go on board with Dilley.
I love that sound. Just the raw horse, even when they're decelerating, you can still feel the horsepower.
And here he goes, ducking underneath the little contact.
Clear behind the 02. Good first start. It's a long race. Clear behind him. Clear behind him.
Great advice from the spotter. You're clear behind the 02. What he's basically saying, let him go. He's going to make the pass. You've got room to duck in behind and follow him for a little while. You got lots of race left.
And a very important thing he said there, too. Lots of race, as you mentioned. Take your time, catch your breath, and get going. Head towards the front again.
Mark Dilley having a look on Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 99. And even though these are all experienced stock car racers, you can still get caught up in the moment. So it's good to have a spotter remind you what's going on.
We'll remind you what's going on at the front. This man is absolutely dominating. The 22 of Scott Steckley and the Canadian Tire Dodge has opened up a huge lead, almost a straightaway now over the rest of the field.
Even his grip on the steering wheel looked relaxed. We look at Randy Steckley and Greg Gibson up on the box.
A beautiful shot high above Riverside International Speedway for the Wounded Warriors Canada 300. Welcome back once again. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Adam Ross in the booth, and Todd Lewis is trackside as we work lap 214. The 22 of Scott Steckley has a humongous lead.
And even when we look at the in-car shots of Scott Steckley, his grip on the wheel is relaxed. Everything about him is relaxed in that race car.
There's a 04 of JF Dumoulin working alongside the 59 of Gary Clute, picking up 6th spot. The Belmar Dodge headed towards the front after starting way back in this field.
Streaks along the front straightaway in front of this huge crowd at Riverside International Speedway. And we've got to mention what a great job by General Manager Paul McLean and his staff. They treat us top-notch, Dave.
They really do. Facility's in great shape, as we mentioned earlier. And here comes the 02 of Mark Dilley, working alongside the CBSF number 25 of Joey McComb. McComb's car not working as good as he would like it to here at Riverside, but still not too far off the pace as he drops in front of the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
And Andrew Ranger, we're on board with him as he tries to find a way around Joey McComb. He's got to be concerned with the 99 of Cameron right behind him, and at this point in the race, we've got a lot of cars on different laps, so you're not necessarily competing for position, but you're always competing for track position and the ground you can make or lose.
Yeah, speaking of different laps, the 25 of Joey McComb, as we ride on board with him, he's currently 2 laps down, sitting in 11th spot, but again, picking up those important points as the 56 on Vic Dodge of Matthew Scannell is doing the same.
Something's gone awry with Joey McComb's oval track program this year. He was so very fast. We went out west. Something's not quite right, and they're going to find it, but it's been a bit of a challenge.
27 of Andrew Ranger, little crossway slides up the hill. That opens the door. A battle for third. Here comes Cameron on the inside.
And that little bit sideways, if you could only imagine, I wish we could let people know how that actually feels in the car, because that's a death slide.
You're watching that wall. Automatically, your attention goes right to that, but this is a battle royale, side by side. Cameron on the inside, and Ranger once again crossways up top.
And the reason we say that, when these cars are under green, watch Cameron come out of the corner once he clears Ranger. He's still giving the outside, right up to the wall. When you're sliding sideways, that wall is actually coming at you.
And you're just hanging on for as much as you can, but give the 99 third spot on the racetrack as he tries to chase down your race leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley, who's working lap traffic.
Going around the outside of DJ Casey in that 10, and I'll tell you, his position is not indicative, Dave, of how well he's run tonight.
Currently sitting in 13th position. Of course, Scott Steckley has the lead well in hand over Mark Dilley. The number 22 Canadian Tire Dodge of Scott Steckley is putting on an absolute clinic here at Riverside Speedway. But his teammate David Michaud showed so much promise early on as succumbed to a broken axle. He's limping around his EpiPen Chevrolet in 11th spot. But how dominant is the 22? Steckley is now lapped up to the 4th place car.
Those were his instructions by Randy Steckley. Go get him.
And he sure is, but this, a battle for second now. Mark Dilley up on the outside as the 99 of Cameron continues to flex his muscle.
Cameron just got a huge run off the corner. That's getting the power down. We'll go on board with Mark Dilley.
He seems to be working okay. That car not bottoming out as it was earlier on this race. And there's a look back to a battle between a couple Dodges. The 59 of Gary Clute, the 47 of LP Dumoulin, battle for 7th.
And Clute sideways coming off the corner. The challenge with doing that here, Dave, you can drive a car loose like that, but the tires eventually wear out so much faster than they will for a car like the 47 of Dumoulin that's tracking a little bit nicer through the corners.
Dumoulin, the 2014 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series champion in the WeatherTech.ca Dodge. One driver down pit lane is the 9 of Dwayne Baker. Right side tires under green.
It actually looks like they're just changing the right front tire. An odd thing to do unless he felt it going down or a vibration, Dave.
Dwayne Baker's not new to the racing world. He will feel that if he feels there's a tire going down rather than wrecking the car. He'll say, I'm going to come in and get some rubber.
And Scott Steckley leading the way all by himself. This is the only time as the race leader you get a little bit nervous. You're getting around those lap cars. Did you see how much room he gave that slower car? Instead of right alongside like you'd battle for position, give him a few feet between in case anything happens.
Yeah, you just never know what is going to happen. A car could get loose, get crossways. They could start feeling the pressure of going a lap down and get a little bit erratic in front of you as you see Michaud pull right down onto the apron to get out of the way.
Well, and even though Scott's crew has told him what's going on with the Michaud 18, you close in so fast on a car that's limping around like that, things happen at varying speeds on a racetrack like this as we're on board with Mark Dilley riding in the 3rd position.
Car that has been so strong since the drop of the green flag here today, that Leland Industries 02, but look at how little gap is now between 3rd place and your race leader. Scott Steckley is going to try and lap the entire field with only a handful of laps left to go. Only 5 laps to go in the Wounded Warriors Canada 300 here in round number 9 of the 2015 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, and the 22 machine of Milverton, Ontario, Scott Steckley, looks to be well on his way to his 19th career victory.
And Dave, if things were to end right now, Scott Steckley would add another 6 points to his points lead over Andrew Ranger. Jason Hathaway would be in 3rd spot, about 19 points back.
And Andrew Ranger trying to keep ahead of the 0-2 of Mark Dilley, trying to keep important points, but should mention that Scott Steckley is lapped all the way up to 2nd spot.
Yeah, even though that's a battle for 3rd between Ranger and the 0-2 of Mark Dilley, 3 of Jason Hathaway, an extra lap down. So everyone on different laps as we're 3 to go, and we're seeing some smoke out the 47 of LP Dumoulin, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like a little flame too I've seen poking its head from underneath the WeatherTech.ca dot, so hopefully just a minor oil fire or some maybe rubber buildup.
We're still under green, so whatever it is, NASCAR's leaving the green flag out, and the Canadian Tire crew is cheering on their driver.
Pure focus from the eyes of the driver, the 22, Scott Steckley, as he works his way through 3 and 4. He'll see the white flag this time past the stripe. All he has to do is hit his marks for this final lap.
Off of turn number 2, and the car is on a rail like it has been the entire second half of this race. Matthew Scannell's in front of him, won't pose any problems, and Scott Steckley comes home with win number 19.
Scott Steckley in dominant fashion. There you see the big smoke from the 47 of LP Dumoulin. He'll be looking for a fire extinguisher pretty quickly, but he brings it home safely and finishes his race. That's important. Big cheers, though, in the Canadian Tire pit.
Oh, everybody's pumped up down on that crew, and what beautiful overhead shots. And we can see LP Dumoulin, that's him limping on the right side of the screen. He pulls down along the inside wall. That's where the infield building is, and one would think some fire extinguishers.
Yeah, no doubt he could smell that smoke as the 22 of Steckley has already found his way into victory lane. Let's send it down to Todd. Todd?
After a cold drink of water and unbuckling, Scott Steckley is climbing out of that number 22 and waving the checkered flag overhead for the 3rd time this season and eating a little confetti in the process. Scott, you went out west, swept those 2 races, and another strong performance here at Riverside.
Yeah, it was a strong performance. It's all my crew, my sponsors. There's so many people standing behind this race team. We should have won a bunch more races, but to win 3 in 1 year, that's great. Canadian Tire, Maximum Tools, Mobile One, AWM Herb Transport, Sturdy Form Concrete, all my sponsors, but my wife and kids back home. But this crew, they're amazing. They do a great job every week. We get this car working good all the time, and we're just going to win some more races.
Scott Steckley hoping to win some more races, and he increases his lead on the way to perhaps a 4th championship.
And Todd, we'll take a look at the top 10 in the finishing order here. You see the 0-2 of Mark Dilley, JF Dumoulin, another top 5.
Career best for Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 99. And how about Josh Collins, the first Newfoundland racer to run with a NASCAR Touring Series?
Todd's with your 2nd place finisher. Todd?
Marc-Antoine, these are the kind of finishes that help you in the standings and certainly help you in the rookie championship as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just want to say thank you to the team in Graffoyd and Braid Battery. We struggle a little bit, halfway through the race. We fight really, really hard to stay in the lead lap, and then we get lucky and to get a yellow pit in. We did some change, and the car, the YDN, was really, really good. So happy for the guys. I mean, the White Motorsport, they worked like really, really hard. So happy for them, and next time we'll be first.
Best career finish for Marc-Antoine Cameron.
And a big smile from the rookie, and he's right, that team doesn't give up. He's currently sitting inside the top 5 in the points.
And I think unofficially we can call this a 3-horse race to the finish. LP Dumoulin's going to be real hard-pressed to make up those points, Dave.
Scott Steckley, though, on the podium. He'll collect this really cool trophy from Tyler and Kate McEachern here at Riverside Speedway. The Wounded Warriors Canada 300 has been brought to you by WeatherTech, the ultimate interior protection for your vehicle. And by Honey Goo from Clean Flow, a honey of a lube. As the champagne sprays here at Riverside International Speedway, our next race will be Pinty's presents the Clarington 200 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Just 2 races left. From all of us at Fuel Media, we'll see you there.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.